tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
And welcome, AfterBuzzers. Thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz TV After Show for Justified, Season 6, the Episode 1, Fate's Right Hand. I'm John Comerford, joined in the studio by Tamara Berg.
Hi, everybody. You can tweet me at Tamara Berg.
And Stephen Bottomley.
Hi. You can tweet me at Bottomley Stephen.
And if you haven't already done so, join us or subscribe to our channel at youtube.com, AfterBuzz TV, or check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud. And don't forget to leave a comment, because we'd love to know what you're thinking. Tweet us by using the hashtag AfterBuzz TV Justified. It's /BuzzBud, I think it is. They'll correct me on that if I'm not right.
I think it's ABTV Justified.
Thank you,
yeah.
ABTV Justified. All right. All right, so let's get into this. First of all, it's great to be back to see Justified again. It's good to see it on screen. And I want to start off with the thing that we have to start off with, the malfeasance and the malfeasance and the negligence of Dewey Crow.
Negligence?
Yeah,
I don't even remember.
Negligence, I think is how it came out.
It was awesome, whatever
More than anything, I was not expecting it until the point, up until the point when he said, here, go take a closer look. And I went, oh, no.
Yeah.
Did you guys, anybody see that coming?
No.
I didn't.
Did not see it coming.
I did not see that coming at all. And they did such a good job in this episode of reminding us why we like him and setting that up so wonderfully that I was, oh, no. Because when he got shot, I was like, oh, what? Because I was fully expecting another season with him, thinking that they can use him and have fun with him, and no.
It wasn't a flesh wound.
Yeah, he's not likely to get up after this one.
And we've so loved Dewey and his silliness and his, stupidity. And his weird luck.
And his bravado.
We are not the only ones who are sad to see him go. I want to read a couple of things that I found from the Hollywood Reporter. Damon Harriman said, it was such a brilliantly written episode. I loved it. I loved the way it happened. I loved it had every element of Dewey that we have come to know up to this point. There were funny things. There were sad things. They kind of captured all the stuff that they had written for Dewey in one episode, and I couldn't have been happier. But by the same token, he said that filming his final moments was, quote, incredibly upsetting. He says it was a very moving thing to be doing a scene that was the final scene for a character you've played and loved to play for years, and there were a lot of emotions flowing through me that day. When Graham Yost read it in the script, he said the emotional impact of Dewey's final moments didn't end with what Damon's experiences were. He said, the first time I saw it, I sobbed, and I was like, oh no, not Dewey. So even Graham Yost himself was so sad. He also talked about how hard it was to tell Damon Harriman that Dewey was going to die, because this is the final season. This is the first episode of the final season. Pretty much. We don't know if anybody's getting out of Harlan alive.
Right.
And he said having to break the news to Damon was not one of those fun days. But at the same time, he said, I think it has a real impact, and we're grateful for the time we had to play with him. And listen, it's the final season. No character is going to go beyond 13 episodes.
Yeah, that's true. Right. And what I also really liked about it is what a way to open your last season. You take a beloved character, even regardless of whether or not he's a main character or not. This guy was well liked for many reasons, and you just kill him in the first episode of the season. That takes guts. And it also really sets a tone. This is not going to be safe. We're not going to take the easy route. At least that's what it suggests to me. Did you guys feel the same way? Is that, we're going to try something different, we're going to mix things up, and it is not going to be what you expect?
Well, go ahead, Steve.
Well, absolutely agree that we're going to let this guy be Dewey.
Yeah.
You're going to remember how much you love him.
Yeah. And then we're going to take him away.
I liked how they did it. I liked how Boyd is killing the past.
Yeah.
Literally. That's all Dewey wanted. I just wanted to go back.
Wanted to recapture that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. And this whole episode has been about you can't go back. There's only one way we can go. So I liked how they finally did do it. And I know that if I'm ever in that bar, I'm not going to look at a picture, no matter how much he tells me to. I'm just not going to look. No. That's a little pro tip for all you out there.
Yeah, and kudos to Damon
Harriman.
Thank you, Darren. But just for doing such a great job on the show for so many seasons, and to go out with such style.
Well, do you remember when James LaGrosse, Wade Messer, left last season? Yeah. They put on his cake, "Hey Raylan, can I get you a blowjob or something?" Yeah, something like that. So they were asking if there was a special line on the cake for Damon Harriman, and Graham Yost said, "I think it was the anus is on you," which is one of our favorite lines.
Yes, that was good.
So,
it was kind of my biggest disappointment in it was I was looking forward to seeing. Who we're talking about?
Damon.
I'm sick.
Dewey Crow. We're all sick.
So I was looking forward to him thinking he was invincible.
Oh my God!
Just to have that. I'm Teflon, and I don't need to stop for the police.
Well, we'll get to more. Let's talk more about how it affected the particular episode. But I really liked the fact that they obviously had to remind us of how we left off and the fact that he had held Boyd at gunpoint. But I was going, how are they going to make this work? Because based on what happened last time, how was Boyd ever going to,
trust?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was interesting how they were weaving it, and I'm going, well, maybe they can make this work or something. Because and obviously Boyd found a reason to use him as bait, so to speak.
Yeah, because he found out some information in that process.
And, since Cyrus was no longer available, but they worked on me because I thought for sure there was no way can he get back in Boyd's good graces after all that. It's just not going to happen. So
well, and it is richly satisfying to have a character leave unexpectedly like that. I mean, in the final season. Right. And the thing is that I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh my God, the snot in my head.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I was looking for. I tell you, as we were going along in this episode, I'm going, oh, this is going to be great. Yeah, they're going to hit Dewey every once in a while. It's going to be fun because he's just so much fun to laugh at and make fun of and stuff like that. And then when they killed him, I just went, what? No. Yeah. And I just, the great loss of going, well, I really wanted to hang out with him for one more season.
Just a little bit more time.
And I don't get that.
But, there's always that axiom in the theater, always leave them wanting more.
Absolutely, and they certainly did with this.
And it also really shows how the show and Boyd are just focusing everything until it comes down to the showdown.
And it also, you paint yourself into a corner, which is a good thing. It forces them to be more creative with what they have, and they can't rely on something like that, which would be easy to rely on. That's why I liked it, because it tells me that, okay, they're not going to rest on their laurels here by using on
they're not screwing around.
Exactly. So, all right, so go ahead.
We forgot to mention that Matt's not with us this season. He's not going to, moment of silence. Matt Lieberman is not going to be with us for Justified this season.
Hopefully he'll come in and sit in front.
From what I understand, if you turn on any other show, you'll probably see it. So it's not like
or you can find him all over SourceFed.
There you go.
That's what so he's doing great over there. So we miss him.
All right, so the other thing that said Dewey's demise sets up is it shows how Raylan is stuck now, because the whole reason why he was sticking around was to get Boyd, right? And that's why he goes down to Nuevo Laredo to talk to Aguilar and find out who the eyewitness is, and finds out it's Dewey, and then boom, we got him. Now we got Boyd, because all we have to do is get Dewey to testify, and of course that's not going to happen because of all the trouble he's created for Dewey in the past with the judgment against him, and so now that sticks Raylan in Harlan even longer.
Right.
Sure, it's going to be simple. You just need him for Rico. He walks into the office. I got him. Done deal. I got everything.
I can go to Florida.
Yeah. Really? It wasn't going to be that simple?
Yeah. Dang. So there's the entanglement. So let's talk more about Raylan and what the whole thing that sets up, because a couple of really interesting scenes we'll talk about, he and Art. But also, it was nice to see Rachel in the captain's chair, so to speak.
Yes. Yes.
running the joint. That was good. And so
it's sometimes hard to remember that only a number of days or weeks have gone by since the last episode that we saw.
Yeah.
And so Art's still recuperating from his gunshot wounds, and Rachel's in charge, and so I'm glad they give us a moment.
They did
back
a
to
decent job of bringing us back up to speed because it's been a while.
Yep.
And it wasn't Xbox heavy.
It wasn't. It was nice.
And whatever, they had to do some of it, so you just kind of they covered it well, so that was nice.
Yeah.
But I really like the scene between Raylan and Art because that hit on a couple of things. I also thought the way that he was with Ava, and that reminded us of, oh, that's right, he's shoved her right in the middle of all this, and now he's her handler, so to speak, and what that creates.
She's his CI.
Yeah. And then we also got introduced to a whole new character, and I don't know, I'm assuming this guy will continue, but it's the real estate
man from
development
Maryland.
investor, whatever, the man from Maryland, exactly, with a suitcase full of money.
Yes.
Stolen money from him. So let's start out with that, because this is the other outside influence. In most seasons, we've had an outside influence come into Harlan County and cause all kinds of
mayhem.
Exactly. So I don't have no idea what this sets up, but I thought it was very interesting to have some guy that we knew nothing of, that he's from Maryland, and who knows if that's true.
Yeah, the whole setup was odd because he just walks in with a suitcase full of cash.
Right.
Now, you would think somebody that is going to spend the cash on a house would kind of know the history and who's behind it.
Yes.
But that's right, tells you that maybe it's not. I don't think it's a real estate thing. It's sort of something else. But who knows?
But that's where I'm thinking. He has to know who he's dealing with. He has to know.
Yeah.
So you think he knows Raylan?
I think I can't imagine.
So I don't see that because why would he offer a suitcase full of money to
maybe just to mess with him? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Weird. I don't think that. I think he figured he was just going to come up and get what did Raylan call him, tater tot or something like that?
Yeah.
Tater tot.
And that they would just go, oh my God, look at all that money. Absolutely, I'm in. Take it. I think that's what he figured.
Yeah, but why that house?
That's what. Well, I don't know. That's what it's interesting about. It was on the market.
He drives up in a Mercedes.
Yeah.
The way he's dressed, he's from Maryland, and he's out there like he knows the dirt. He's like checking the soil for his crop.
Yeah. But I love the way that was shot when Raylan and Tim are driving up. You see the big for sale by owner sign. Let us know. Yeah. Okay, yeah, get you. Yeah. And then some. Yeah.
The other bit I liked about that was the tombstones, where this episode really was about, look, we're bringing it all home, and we're going to kind of remind you. We're going to leave little signposts along the way, and I thought the tombstones was a nice thing. I saw it. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah.
But it said beloved husband.
And devoted father.
Yeah, so
you get to lie a little bit on a tombstone.
You kind of have to. But it was very interesting that. I was going, Raylan, I wonder why Raylan doesn't sell to him, because he wants that thing off his plate, right? But he obviously knows there's something bad here. So obviously that's going to come back in some fashion. How, we don't know. I don't even have any kind of conjecture about it.
Have you read anything on it?
No, but that'll be interesting how that plays out, because I don't think that guy was just a regular old real estate developer from Maryland.
I don't think he was.
But I like that they brought back the outside influence, that force that's going to have to be reckoned with in some.
Well, and I forgot there's another outside influence coming in also.
Mary,
in the coming up,
and we also saw Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
So those things.
So too. I don't imagine you get Sam Elliott and go, yeah, we're just going to use you once.
No. Well, and supposedly we'll have Mary too.
Yeah.
So we'll see
I have a little something about Sam Elliott I want to tell you guys about. There's an article in Rolling Stone. It's an interview with Timothy Olyphant, and he says. He was talking about Sam Elliott getting cast, and he says, my only worry about having Sam on this last season, if I can be honest, was that people would finally realize that I've been ripping him off all these years now. On his first day of work, I took him aside and I said, look, buddy, here's the deal. Raylan is really just me trying to be you and failing miserably. In fact, I've just been stealing your whole deal since before I started this gig. Now when we do our scenes together, people are going to be like, oh, now I get it. Tim is doing Sam Elliott, but with the voice of a 12-year-old.
So there you go.
Wow.
We'll look forward to those scenes together then.
Yeah. Now I can't not see that.
I just think that's
wow.
a riot that he divulged that. You know, you have to have enough confidence in your own abilities to be able to let that kind of thing out.
And we also see that Dickie's going to be back.
Dickie Bennett.
So they're going to use him in some
Got a little Dickie Bennett in there.
So, but let's talk more specifically about Raylan's particular storyline here. He, as I mentioned, he got Aguilar down in Mexico. That was a fun scene in the bar.
The whole Mr. Aguilar, Senor Aguilar storyline was great.
The whole bourbon tequila thing. The whole, hey, well, I'll see you again. I told you I'd meet you later. And there's that. And then he brings him to Texas. He's in El Paso. So we've got all that. I don't know if that's going to cause. That's right. Steve's going to take a break for a second. He'll step out. All right. So I don't know I don't know if the Mexican thing will come back, but obviously Aguilar is in prison somewhere, so I imagine he'll come back. But what I liked is Raylan's
it could be
moving
that
all
he could be
these.
a player in the Rico thing because if
That's
Dewey's
what I'm
not
thinking.
there.
Yeah, because Raylan's trying to move all these pieces to get it done as quickly as possible, and then he can move on to Florida. And of course, that's just not going to happen because nothing can be easy. Otherwise, we've got no TV show.
Right, exactly.
So the next thing that we see is that since it's not going to be easy, he now has to go basically doing what Tim's doing was okay. Let's follow Boyd around, get as much information because Ricos take time and all that other stuff. And I thought it was interesting that Cyrus being out of the picture causes. Let's talk about Cyrus just for a second because it was a fun little turn to see Cyrus
with the
goosenecker at the door.
Yes,
trying to get in.
And the tweaker. With a very nice dental work.
And when Cyrus decides to take a leave of absence, he doesn't get very far because the Marshal's got long arm with a shovel, shall we say, meets him in the face, which is
halt, U.S. Marshal.
Yeah, there was that with Aguilar, which is I told you you'd see each other again, and then the halt longer, and then the Marshal. So those are two things to remind us who Raylan is. So that was a lot of fun. But because of that, now they're stuck with, who are we going to follow? We're going to follow Dewey, or we're going to follow Boyd, and it's Raylan that makes the decision to follow.
You're talking about in the truck between Tim and Raylan.
When they see that Boyd is given the big old bag of whatever and puts it in the trunk of the car, and then Dewey takes off with it. Yeah. So I think specifically the reason why he follows Dewey is because he's my eyewitness. I got to figure out a way to get him. He was waiting for him to screw up because that's what he said in the office. Yes. I'm just going to follow Dewey. When he screws up again, I'll be there. Right. So and Boyd, not knowing specifically that it's Raylan that's actually following him, sets it up. It's such that. What else can Raylan do? But hey, I gotta get Dewey, and he thinks he's getting Dewey right there, red-handed. Yes. So, which of course causes the whole bank robbery. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. So, what else do we want to say about the Raylan thing? Oh, let's talk about art.
The art episode. I mean, the art scene. Yes.
So we haven't seen Art in a while, at least because the last few episodes of last season, of course, he was in the hospital. I mean, we got a few scenes of him, but this one was very telling. The whole idea that Art's saying, so you want to plug him. He actually says he knows that Raylan doesn't want to take time with this Rico thing. He says it's going at a snail's pace. He just wants to plug him and be done with it. Yeah, you could kill Boyd, but he says, but then you'd be without a star and a gun, and you would possibly end up in prison. So, or... Yeah, well... You could miss. I mean, the bullet might find you. It's speaking from a guy who just got a bullet. Yeah. Sometimes things just don't go your way. Exactly. So it was another of those. We've talked in past seasons about Art being a father figure for Raylan, and it was definitely that fatherly advice sort of thing that was happening between the two of them. But also reminding us about because they're good with their writing on this show, and they're careful about letting us know what we need to be reminded of, but also allowing us to catch up in case we've forgotten something. But what was most intriguing about that is, when we go back to last season, some of their scenes were really antagonistic. I mean, Art was really pissed off. Yes, they were. And none of that was there. It wasn't present. I know there's time has passed and he's also been shot, so I'm sure it's been changed a little bit. But I thought the fact that he was so cavalierly talking about, you want to plug him in, because last season it was stop messing around. Right. You're screwing up too much. And this was kind of like, like, yeah, I know you want to play. And he was just kind of nonplussed about the whole thing, it seemed.
Well, do you think part of that is possibly because they're not in the office?
I don't know, maybe.
Not in the office and drinking bourbon, and one of them's been shot recently, he's not officially acting as his boss, so to speak.
I think that's a great perception, because he even says, as for, he's speaking, and when Art was talking about Ava, he's saying, no, if I was in charge, no, I would never let that happen.
Yeah.
So maybe it is because they're out of the office and he's not in charge of anymore, and he doesn't have to worry about the blowback so much.
Well, and it's temporarily not in charge, because he may be back. He may be back. Yeah.
So
like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Welcome back, Steve. So, but it was great to see Art and Raylan again, and finally having his bourbon, because he didn't get it in
the hospital.
Well, no, since Raylan didn't get it
in Mexico.
Nuevo Laredo. I thought the other thing, it's just a weird little parallel. I thought it was great. When Raylan first comes in, he's going to pour him some, and Art says, no thanks, it doesn't help, whatever. So he doesn't take any. But then very shortly after that, he grabs some. So, and the same thing with Ava and Boyd. He says, how about if we have two, you have a beer, you have 2 beers? And she says, no, I just woke up, right? It's in the morning. And then what's the first thing she does is she takes some booze.
Yeah, but she's secret drinking.
Yeah, I know.
But she didn't want to have the social drink with her fiance.
But I just like that both of them are saying no, but both of them are drinking. So on both sides of the issue.
Yes.
So anyway, I thought that was a good little parallel. So,
get me caught up. What I meant.
No, you don't have to worry about
You're fine.
Air conditioning and a cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm just happy that they figured out a way to stick Boyd and keep him in Harlan for a while and make it tough for him, because who wouldn't expect that, because they have to in order to keep the show going. But to do it in such a dramatic way was fabulous, because now he doesn't even have his witness.
Right.
Even though he couldn't get him, he couldn't get him the regular way because of all his history with Dewey, but now he doesn't have him at all. Right. And they don't even know he's dead. So
I was going to say, he doesn't know that yet.
No, he doesn't know that, but that's the point. He's going to, where is he?
Right, yeah.
Now, because he's
going to
keeping an eye on him.
He will disappear. He will not show up dead.
And they're obviously keeping an eye on him for a good reason, Raylan. And what is that going to put, what kind of fly is that going to put in the ointment? Because all of a sudden Dewey's gone?
He's got to catch wind of it fairly quickly, just so we can all move on.
And they can say, you can easily explain, he went to visit so and so or so, But Dewey himself says he doesn't have any family left. That's it. You remember the turtle dog represents the last of his connection to his family. So
sweet little turtle dog.
Exactly. We could talk about the turtle dog a little bit more, but anyway. But there isn't anybody else. And where else would Dewey go? So anyway, that's going to be something there for Raylan to find out, and then because he's going to, at some point, I'm guessing he'll learn that he's dead. They'll find a body or something.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And he's going to know.
Yeah.
It's got to be Boyd.
Yeah. Well, obviously it has to be Boyd.
And if they can leverage that into a storyline or, as another plot line.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to probably get over quick.
But look how bad it's going to get for Raylan, because he's going to actually have to use Dickie to help him finally get the case on Boyd.
Yeah, but
I don't imagine he really wants to go there. Yeah, it's great for us, but I don't imagine that's going to be any fun for him. It's like, okay, Dewey's dead, and who else I'm going to have to go to Dickie to get for a witness?
Do you remember the last time that they met in prison and Dickie was Raylan was asking him to show him something on a map, and Dickie went and said, take your finger here and then stick it.
Yeah.
It was very colorful and very funny, very descriptive, and I'm looking forward to some Dickie Bennett moments.
So it's like they tagged him out. Dewey's been tagged out. Dickie didn't.
Yeah.
Do we have Dickie in? So that's how that's going to come.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about, we mentioned Raylan a lot. Let's go into how Raylan has put Ava smack dab in the middle of this, because he needs her also as a witness to get information about Boyd. And this one I really felt the struggle that she was going to be in, because Boyd was doing such an interesting job of trying to sell the idea again. That they're trying to be normal. He's fixing the house. He's painting the railing. He's doing all kinds of things, and but then he starts talking about there's no future for us here, and I know I'm talking a little bit about Boyd, but they're intertwined. He's saying that
but
the
that
dream
Harlan is dead.
Harlan and the dream of having a DQ and a Dairy Queen somewhere, that's gone, and we have to get out of here because it's a ghost town and we're going to be ghosts soon, and she wants to have none of that. But I was thinking, well, what is she it was just having a hard time figuring how is she going to play this, because if he really wants to get out and her whole deal is predicated on whether or not she can give him information, she's in a jam.
Right.
Yeah, and Boyd's talking about let's just get out of Harlan.
Yeah.
If I come into a sum of money, let's get out of Harlan. But he wants to go to Costa Rica or Brazil.
Someplace
I'm not running from anything. You know what? There are white sand beaches in America.
And she says she doesn't want to hear it. Now, do you think she doesn't want to hear it because she doesn't want to have that information because she'll have to pass it on to Raylan? Or
No,
she just
I think she really is.
doesn't want to leave.
This is her home. You know, and she's out of prison, which is nice. It's nice to have her back home. And I don't have a take on her yet about how she feels about Boyd.
Right.
I don't know if she's happy he's back. I don't know if she's okay with him working around the house and trying to be,
certainly
the husband.
conflicted. We got that, which was great.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think, I think she does not want to leave.
Well, the thing is if you think about what their big dream was when he gave her the diamond, it was not leave. It was stay and have a family legacy.
And their family would have moved out of this kind of life. They would have moved on to something more legitimate.
They were going to move up.
Exactly.
But they were still going to be, in the same in the area that she calls their home. Because it's for Raylan, he talked about his roots too. My family lived here from Miller's Peak or whatever. Sorry, I got it wrong. I'm sure it's wrong. In 1903. Yeah. And so they're sentimental people there in Harlan County because it is a lot about kin and
tradition, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Megs Bennett too. She was that way. So I think that's absolutely part of Ava's truth is that she doesn't want to make a big change. She just wants a better life.
And she even lies to Raylan about that, about whether or not Boyd's making any big plans. And she says, "Oh, he bought a
$300 tow truck."
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
And unbeknownst to her, she actually gave Raylan good information.
Exactly.
Right.
The tow truck thing,
Yeah, she thought it was an innocuous bit of information, but
Yeah, and that's where I was picking up the conflict too. She's not being totally honest with Raylan, and because, and I don't know if it's because she does care about Boyd, or if she's literally scared about. Look, if I say the wrong thing and he finds out, I'm dead.
That's right. Not only, and I thought that was great the way the last scene where after Dewey gets offed, we cut to him. He's just in the bed. Well, and we see Ava in the bed, and then we see that he's just staring at her, just watching. Just oh my god,
that wasn't creepy at all.
No, not creepy at all.
Well, it's so interesting because we got to see Ava in prison, and we've always known she was a gal who could fend for herself and could, make things happen and be tough when she needed to be. And she had a tough time while she was in prison. She did things that took a lot of.
She killed her husband. She took a shotgun to the other guys, a frying pan to somebody's head.
Remember the prisoner that she.
Absolutely.
So, but now we're seeing her being very vulnerable, and I just think it's fascinating and it's fabulous for Joelle Carter to be able to play it. And she's been talking. If you check out her Twitter feed, which is really interesting, she talks a lot about how lucky she feels to be playing Ava. And Graham Yost talked about how this season was going to be a tour de force opportunity for Joelle Carter because we're going to see kind of everything that Ava is. But I bet you that's the same thing that we're going to have with Raylan and with Boyd
I would hope so. You might as well pull out all the stops. But what the fact that because I couldn't quite tell her feelings for Boyd right now because they were so strained last season in the prison. She's in jail and she doesn't feel like he's doing enough to get her out and all this other stuff. She realizes how alone she is and the whole thing. He can't protect all that kind of stuff. And now she's out and he's trying to make all nice domestic like. And she even says we're ghosts basically. She says like we're not ghosts already. We're not dead already or whatever she says.
Why do you think she's not on the Boyd bandwagon?
I think because being on the Boyd bandwagon last season didn't help her, and she realized the limitations of that. So it was just it was great when we were kind of together, and it was Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing. But then when we were apart, and boom, I'm alone. I realized how alone. There's only so much he can do for me anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know if we just inferred it or if it was actually specific in the season. But I got the same feeling, which was, at the end of the day, it's Boyd. And she must have felt that while she was in prison, because there were times where, they were having the arguments, and she wasn't feeling that he was there 100%.
Right.
So,
does she not love him? I guess
that's
sort
what I'm wondering.
My question.
I can't tell you. I think she, obviously, I think she still has love for him. I don't think they're in love right now. I think she, all in her head, the only thing this guy is either my ticket out, which means I have to sell him out, which means how horrible am I going to feel if I sell him out because it was a guy who I was in love with at one point,
or could I potentially be dead for doing it?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's great for her. I mean, in terms of the actress, Joelle, she'll have a fabulous time, and it'll be fun to watch. But it's just, as a character, it's a horrible. I mean, I can't even imagine being in this position. Whereas, okay, my ticket to freedom is to sell him out. I might get killed in the process, and I have to pretend that I really love him, in order to do it.
And the other, just sort of interesting thing that's lurking in the back is that she had something of a relationship with Raylan as well.
Yeah, and I think the way that Boyd was pitching, I think he's kind of pitching the idea of the possibility, and I think she hope springs eternal, and I think she's looking at, gosh, we could run away. We could actually make that. I think that's going to just be playing like crazy. So she's going to be stuck with, if I stick with Boyd and I actually stick it out, we might actually get that.
That's the thing. She's not going to ever discount Boyd's ability to come out ahead. She's seen it too many times, and she knows he's smart enough to be just ahead.
But it's also mollified by the fact that he couldn't help me in prison. So you got that, too.
And I think she believes, look, Boyd against anybody, I'm betting on Boyd except for one guy.
Right.
That's the guy. And the other thing that I like that they did was, again, for me, it was a lot of signposts, is when they had the final scene with Raylan and Ava on the bridge.
On the bridge.
Yeah.
And
how many times we've seen
literally reminded everybody about that history and everything.
Yeah.
So,
and then at the very end Boyd on that bridge. Yeah. Exactly.
And then at the very end of it, you see Raylan kind of turn around, just like give her like tough love. So get on the stick and let's get this done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Chop chop.
Exactly.
Chop chop. So
don't ignore my texts from the Department of Water and Power.
Good cover.
Nice. All right, so let's speak more specifically about Boyd, because I thought one of the things they did wonderfully in this particular episode is reminding us of who he was.
That's right. Swastikas.
Yeah, you got to see that. It was prominent.
Front,
absolutely. When we first see him, he's on that couch. We wake him up. Boom. He's got. Oh yeah, that's right. And then in case you didn't get it, of course, the way he kills Dewey is just so cold.
Well, they reminded us not only about who he was, but all of the facets of who he is, which I thought was a great. And I thought. I'm going to say his name, Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins. I thought he played it exactly right, because even when he was being domestic, you could still feel the pain and the yearning and everything, but which means when he turns into the mean dog, he's going to bite. It was fun to watch him. Fun to watch him again.
It was a lot of fun. When that Dewey is in the last scene prior to him Dewey being shot, he was talking about how he just wants it to be what it used to be.
I'm tired.
And you could. And Walton is kind of rigging. I'm sorry, Boyd is kind of playing along and everything like that. But I'm also seeing in his face that he's just buying time and just trying to get information out of him, but making him believe on. And then when he says well, who broke your jaw, Raylan, and why? And just the look on his face was, because I think that was the point when he realized, okay, it's not just some person following me taking pictures; it's Raylan's in on it. And then when Dewey starts talking about Mexico and he's putting all this together, and that's when Boyd finally said, "That's it, I got off him. I got it because I can't trust him anymore." But just these little looks here and there that you're seeing all this, and it was so subtle.
One of the things, again, that I read in the Graham Yost interview, he was talking about whether or not that moment was humane or Sinister, where Boyd brought Dewey to the photo and sort of lulled him into this moment of security, and Graham Yost said it was both. It was absolutely both sinister and humane.
Humane to put him down?
No. The method that he used, bringing him to the photo and lulling him into this. Yeah, exactly. He never saw it coming, and so there are two sides to that to that moment of he never saw it coming, and so yay, but also he never saw it coming. So
we'll move on to the plot point of this. So he does the bank heist, and with all that fun special effects and the stunt work and all that kind of stuff happening. But we also find out the only thing that seems to be of value is the journal. We don't know who just yet.
Well, I thought it was interesting that he chooses 4. Chooses 4, and I don't know. Okay, was that a cover so that they don't know which one he's going for? But he was definitely only interested in the journal, as far as we could tell.
And we don't even know how he got that information. We can assume it's from Mary Steenburgen, but we don't know.
Right.
Why choose those ones?
Well, one of the things that they've talked about is that bank robbing is simple. It's just about the money. It's not about building a business or having a career or having an empire. It's just about getting money.
There's the money. I'm going to get it.
Exactly. And so it's kind of quick and dirty. But I think that what we have to consider is, did he make a mistake? Did he not get what he was looking for? And in that there was no money in there, or was he playing a little bit of a longer game with this journal? Is this journal something that's going to get him the big payoff? And we don't really know yet.
We don't know any of it. We don't know if he was sent in there, if he did this on his own, if somebody sent him in there to do this, did they give him the wrong information, or is that the right information? We don't know any of that, which was great. All we know is the journal, really, is pretty much it.
Well, we do know that he's not upset with the results.
He didn't seem to be at all, but he didn't seem to be surprised.
He's got a good poker face.
That's true. But I didn't get any indication one way. He seemed to just, he got it and was looking at it, and I go, I couldn't tell for a second whether or not he expected it or was happy to get it, or hey, this will work. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
I think he got what he wanted.
You do?
Yeah.
And do you think somebody else sent him in there for that, or do you think he knew about it?
No, I think the fact that who we know is coming in, I think he got what he wanted.
Well, do you think he knew that from his time?
Yeah, because just as I said that he took the 4 as a cover, then I realized, no. He didn't know which one it was. So that's why he sprayed everything, went back in and said, okay, these have been active. So he must have known, okay, there's a schedule when they drop the ledger off. He doesn't know which one it is, so we're just going to go back in and take any one that's been opened. That's why they went for that whole panel. That's my guess.
Maybe. I mean, I think it's well covered because he said, well, there is a ledger here. You know, he was sort of convincing the guys that there may be something left in the dregs. And that could be, again, him using his poker face.
Did he say that? I don't even remember him saying that. He actually said that?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He did.
Missed it.
So I don't know. Well, obviously, we're not supposed to know yet because they don't let us know anything before we're supposed to in this show.
Which is half the fun. So.
I would like to talk. Can we just talk about the overall show?
Yes, please.
Or was there more that you wanted to?
No, go right ahead.
So I loved that we're getting back to basics and you know, kind of course, you know, that we got to revisit the badassness of Raylan, the scariness of Boyd, the multifacets of Ava with her vulnerability as well as her power, because you know that's going to come out, and the unpredictability of life in Harlan, because you really don't know how it's going to go.
But they really, especially in this episode, they really set it up, or at least it seems to be set up for the rest of the season, that it's going to be about the triangle, Boyd, Ava, and Raylan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it started.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that triangle. I'm just kind of curious to see, well, how much of the old world do we get to see? I mean, are they going over into the barbecue area as well?
I don't know if he'll come back.
Well, one of the things
I know some people
Noble's Holler. I don't know.
One of the things that Graham Yost talked about was that there were going to be beloved characters coming back in this final season, but they all had to make sense.
Right.
You know, just because we loved a particular character, and I'm talking about we, but I'm talking about them in the writer's room, doesn't sort of qualify them to come back this episode. I mean, this season. So as much as we love,
it's not a swan song. They're not getting an encore. It's just if it makes sense to the show, then
exactly.
It's a little late for a
not a curtain call.
No, and just to get some sort of grassroots support thing going to get someone back.
No, that's not gonna make sense.
So as much as we love Constable Bob, he's not necessarily coming back
with his Pinto.
unless it makes sense.
Yeah. They could make that make sense.
They could, absolutely. They could make anything make sense. But yeah, he was saying this isn't our greatest hits season.
Right.
You know, it's not where we're going to bring back all the best storylines unless it makes sense. But we could be going back to Noble's Holler.
There could be a dream sequence.
And did you, when it was first rolling out, the first, 15, 20 minutes, I said, well, this is a different feel.
Yes.
A slightly different feel because I thought they took more time than usual, which was fine with me, and they used the music to cover well, and they were kind of almost in a montage kind of thing to set people up. You know, the way we set up, when we're going down to Laredo, there's a lot of music. When we're coming back from Laredo, and they did not, but then especially with Boyd, a lot of music. And then even with the Ava, some of the shots, Dutch angles, and I was like, well, we don't usually see that here.
Explain what that means.
Dutch angles, it's just a kilter. The frame's a kilter, yeah.
So I agreed with Raylan backing into the guy. They established right away that, look, we're going back to how Raylan was, which is he's going to get the job done. He really doesn't care.
Yes, that's right.
And he's in Mexico to do it in Mexico.
It really doesn't care.
And they did that with Boyd as well.
Yeah.
About just got to do the job. So if that's where they're going to start from and go forward from there.
Yeah, so because they established the characters of who we always knew, but they just did it in a different way, and I thought that was interesting. Did you guys feel it looked different, seemed a little different? Or is it just because I haven't seen it in a year?
I mean, maybe, but the other thing that I felt was it kind of reminded me a little bit of Breaking Bad. With the way they were doing, because Breaking Bad took its time. There was plenty that happened, but they took their time in those scenes. And the armadillo scene, where the armadillo was walking in, that definitely felt like one of those desert scenes from Breaking Bad. And I love that because I think it really, it allows us to kind of sink in and enjoy. And, as much as I've enjoyed the complicated seasons where there's lots going on and we have to remember whose character's what, and the three of us at least were confused by some of those things. I love character pieces, and I love really seeing how that all plays out. And that's, I think, what most people love most about Justified is the archetypes that have been set up by this neo-Western.
When you mentioned Breaking Bad, and Raylan is talking about to the Federale. I want to know about the other people in the desert. I'm watching, I'm thinking, oh yeah, the other people, and then I realize I'm remembering a Breaking Bad episode. Like, I'm like, wait, who? What desert was there? Was there a motorhome? What? So I don't know. I got the same thing.
But
the other point I was making was just that these well-established kind of beauty shots, with that dusty shot of the man from Maryland behind him in the mountains and stuff, and there were a few of those in this, and I really enjoyed that because again, we're reestablishing where we are, and
that was kind of our comment about last season. Was it was really close. It was a lot of interior. The previous season they would have all these different outdoor areas that they would go and visit. So that was nice to see the wide shots.
Because of the storyline, we were in Audrey's a lot last season.
Yes.
Audrey's now currently is no more. Seized. So
no more $6 blowjobs.
Which is the smartest thing you can think a man to do.
But it's great now because we're setting up. I'll just say it one more time. I really like the fact that Raylan now is stuck because in order to get to Florida and my ladies, I gotta deal with this thing first. Yeah. I can't do it the normal way because his struggle is gonna be I just want to plug him and move on, but I can't. Right. And I don't have the tools because my eyewitness is no longer available. And if he was available, I couldn't use him, and now he's gonna be gone completely. So they're just really making it harder.
They're putting him in his worst possible box, which is you have to go slow and you can't blow.
He can't plug him, and he just wants to. Which is kind of the way we started the show because the first thing we saw of him was telling the guy he's got to leave town. If he does, he's going to off him in 5 seconds, whatever the heck it was, and then he did. And now he can't do that. So at least he won't until the last minute of the show. So.
Any thoughts about how you think the show is going to end? What the showdown is going to be? I'm sure we will talk about this over and over again this season.
I just hope we get a great showdown, and I hope it's going to be fun. Well,
who's leaving Harlan alive?
I'm not sure anybody's going to leave Harlan alive. I really am not sure. I think it would be very fitting of the show if no one left Harlan alive. Because that's what the show is. That's what the song is. And to do that, I would be completely satisfied. I think it would be a fine way to end the show. That no one, especially our three would, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Those three, Ava.
Yeah,
Boyd,
I'm just
Raylan.
doing a mental list of like who's getting knocked off in which sequence, you know, and which.
Because I mean, look, the way we
makes me
opened it.
sad.
Remember the first episode? He shoots Boyd, point blank, and misses him. And you know, there was speculation of whether you never miss, and how did you miss? You know, and you missed just right in order for him to
Yes.
live and stuff like that. And now, of course, we know now that they liked it so much that they had to bring Boyd back.
Yeah.
But you got to end it. I mean, it just seems like it would be fitting to end. They don't get out of Harlan alive. That's
And
true.
remember that these writers are really good at bringing small things back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they've got 5 other seasons that they can go kind of pick and bring stuff back in.
Well, and I read that they haven't decided exactly how it's going to end themselves because they haven't shot the whole season yet.
Oh, then we can do a grassroots thing.
You start it, Steve.
Come on.
All right.
Hashtag Constable Bob back.
Any
Exactly.
last thoughts? We don't have any news today. We're not going to do
No.
any predictions because most of our show was about predictions. So let's just talk about last thoughts or anything before we get out of here.
Dewey Crow. You mean I had 4 kidneys?
Was there anything else from that you wanted to bring up? Because he had a bunch of quotes.
I got it all.
I mean, I had 4 kidneys. That was nice.
You mean I had 4 kidneys?
That could be 10,000 people.
So yeah,
$300? I'm not taking $300.
300 grand.
Oh.
We'll miss him.
We will
Yes,
miss him.
we will.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Dewey Crow.
Well, Dewey Crow will never leave Harlan alive, and he didn't here. All right, so
I mean, the pig outlasted Dewey Crow. And that guy's called the pig.
Yes.
that's true. You did okay.
Yes. We'll miss
Sorry,
you, Dewey
Dewey.
Crow.
We'll miss you. Come on in and
That's it.
talk to us.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
so
It's safe. You've been killed. You can come talk to us.
all right, thanks again, everybody. Make sure you go to youtube.com/AfterBuzz TV and check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud and leave a comment for us. Let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts or what your hopes are for the final season
You can
and what
tweet
you'd
us.
like to see.
You
Tweet
can
us
write,
at.
I'm at Tamara Berg. He's at Bottomley Stephen.
Thank you.
You can find me.
He doesn't remember.
Okay, that's all we have time for. We want to thank you much for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.
See you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later. Apple pie.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.